I get a lot of questions about working from home as a registered nurse. Like people are like, how Sway, how you do it? Hey there, my name is Lesline and I am your favorite nurse yogi. I am a registered nurse with 12 years of healthcare experience, technically 14 because the first 2 years while I was in nursing school, I was working as a tech, also known as a certified nursing assistant. And the last 12 years, I've been working as a registered nurse across all different types of landscapes within the healthcare system. Today, though, is about you, and I want to share how you can get a remote nursing job after Bedside. And here is what you need to do first. The first thing you need to do is know that, yes, it exists. Working remotely, working from home as a nurse is a thing, especially in this day and age that we're living in, where tech is moving at the speed of light. AI is not going anywhere. And as a registered nurse, you need to keep up with the times. What I've realized working in healthcare is that healthcare is antiquated, archaic. It's very archaic. It's very still like we're still in the 1980s with our practices, and the people that own hospitals, they're not keeping up in the way that they should, right? So as a nurse, you need to do your due diligence, especially if the reason that you became a nurse is because you want to help people. You need to stay abreast of what is going on in the technology landscape, because when I tell you technology and healthcare, those are two of the biggest markets. Like those two things are not going away. And you're already a nurse in this video, but maybe you're not. Maybe you're like thinking about being a nurse, and when I tell you either pick nursing or tech, I'm going to say nursing because people are always going to get sick. Unfortunately, people are getting sicker, right? We ain't going nowhere. I digress. So I want you to also know this. If you work bedside as a registered nurse, know that you are not stuck, because I know personally that once I became a registered nurse, I hated it. I forget where that's from. I don't know if it's from Parks and Rec, but I say it in that tone because it's like from a show. Hated it. 10 out of 10. I did not recommend it. Those first few years, I was like, this is the dream. This is the dream that my parents sold me. Like, I'm just calling a thing a thing. And I was like, this is really hard. One, I didn't feel supported as a graduate nurse. I felt like I made a mistake, wasted all this money for what? Hindsight is 2020. I'm glad I persevered. I am so glad I persevered. But I know that 2.5 year mark, that's something that is standard. They say, you need at least 2.5 years of experience. And I agree with that. You need at least 2.5 years of bedside experience before you leave the People's Hospital. You will notice that I say the People's Hospital because we don't own it, right? We don't own it. So I want you to know, though, that if you're feeling stuck, that's normal. And then you should consider your options. You are a registered nurse. You have a license. A lot of people on these internet streets, they ain't got a lick of nothing. And I know that doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't, like these Gen Z, man, the Gen Z, they just out here and they making millions, right? And I want to be on the winning team too. So I say that to say we have a lot of knowledge to share as registered nurses. There's so many avenues you can go. Like, you can be doing content. You can be a nurse content creator, right? There's just so many ways you can go. I digress. So you're not stuck. It's just time to pivot, right? And if you're like, oh, I don't want to leave the people, like, I don't want to upset my boss, I don't want to upset Susie Ann. It's always Susie Ann in these videos. It's okay. Like, that's people pleasing. You need to do what's right for you. And if you have a family, you and your family, okay? There is more money to be made. There is more money to be made, okay? So let's now talk. I said this, bedside first, right? You cannot, and I do not recommend you go straight from the nursing school into a remote job. You need clinical experience. So you need clinical judgment. You need pattern recognition. You need to see patients decline and improve. Like, you need to see it with your eyes, not AI. Like, you need to see it. You need to see, like, you come on the 12-hour shift, 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. Susie Ann is hyperglycemic, blood sugar 700, hemoglobin A1C 15. That's really extreme. But you get where I'm going. She in DKA, right? And you need to see Susie Ann. You need to see Susie Ann through to bring her down, to bring that blood sugar down to 70 to 100. The hemoglobin A1C going to take a minute, but bring that blood sugar down, right? And you need to see how Susie Ann is acting symptomatically. Is she really tired when you first come in? And then once you bring that blood sugar down, Susie Ann chit-chatting with you. You need to see these things with your eyes, because then when you get a job remotely, you're going to be reading through clinical notes. And I'm going ahead of myself. So yeah, you need to see patients decline and improve. Minimum of 2.5 to 3 years of in the hospital experience. Why you cannot skip this step. You cannot skip this step. And I know I'm guilty, y'all. I'm guilty. I be skimming stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I am so glad. Like I said, I hated working the hospital, but I am so glad I did it, because it gives you, like I was saying, I was getting ahead of myself. What I do now, I am a clinical reviewer for a company, and I work in the they call it the authorization management department, also known as the utilization management department. And what we're doing is we're managing the utilization of each patient, because we want to make sure we're saving the hospital, and insurance is money. It's all about money, unfortunately, in healthcare. And with that being said, you're reading charts all day. You're reading clinical notes. Some clinical notes are fabulous. Like, they paint the patient top to bottom. Like, I know what shirt Susie Ann is wearing, right? Sometimes you barely know. You be like, where is the blood pressure? I need a vital sign. You ain't gonna give me a vital sign? How am I supposed to know how Susie Ann is really doing if I don't even got a vital sign? Right? And then that's when you gotta call the facility and be like, I need more information. And then, the blah, blah, blah. Okay. But you wouldn't know that if you didn't work the people's hospital, right? Because the charts do not tell the whole story. You need real life context before you work from home. Remote roles require independent decision making. I will tell you personally, I recently started a new job. So I've been working from home now since my children. And I tell you, God is good. God has always seen me through. I had both of my kids back to back. So I had my son in 2018. I had my daughter in 2019. World shut down in 2020. I had to go back into the people's job 2020. At that time, I was working case management and in an office. But I was like, I can't go back into the office. Like, I have 2 kids under the age of 14 months old. I cannot, right? Shout out. And I tell you, God has always seen me through. God always sees my family through. Like, I say these as affirmations out loud right now, because I truly believe in the power of words. And a friend of mine, we worked this, and we still work the same place. She was like, I got you, Leslie. She was like, you need to go into utilization management. I said, girl, I don't know a nan thing about utilization management. And she's like, it's okay. We got it. And here I am, 7 years later, doing utilization management. Now I'm doing it for a different company. I just started with this different company 2-3 weeks ago. It's fresh, y'all. But I really like it. And they're already throwing us to the wolves. And what I mean by that is, like, they're like, okay, like, you have experience, so you got it. And I'm just like, okay. And I do got it. Like, I'm actually like, girl, you remember some stuff, because the utilization management I did previously was for NICU, for neonatal intensive care unit. And now I'm doing adults. My whole, like, my background, like how I started was adults. I actually didn't work in an actual NICU, but I got that job. When I tell you, God always sees me through. So now that I work with adults again remotely, I'm like, oh, it's all coming back to me. It's all coming back. So reading these charts of patients falling, patients in DKA, patients in AKI, acute kidney injury, patients in CHF, like, it's the same stuff. It's just there's new medication, which is cool. So just wanted to give you that personal context. So what remote nursing roles look like? There is utilization management, which is what I'm in. There's case management, which is what I did do prior to utilization management. There's quality chart review nursing, like auditing, which I'm considering doing that, because I am a very particular person. So I'm like, oh, maybe. And then there's insurance-based roles. So I can do, and please let me know, I can do separate videos where we go in it of what is utilization management, what is case management, like, so you have that knowledge, because I truly, truly believe, one, knowledge is power, but also seeing and hearing what other people are doing is powerful, because when you see somebody that looks like you, that is doing the thing you want to do, it makes it more like you feel like you can touch it. Like, even though you can't touch me, you get what I'm saying. Okay. So what employers are actually looking for, they're looking for strong documentation. Where I previously left, we got audited. I got audited every month. I had to hit 90% on my charts. Okay. Like, if you didn't do 90%, that's bad. And that's high, right? So you have to be a strong documenter. Like, you can't be doing shortcuts with your documentation. You have to have critical thinking skills, autonomy, communication. I'm learning communication a lot right now in this current role, because my old job, I had a friend that we would work side by side, and I would just always talk with her. And it's so interesting. She knows me really, really well. Like, you have to have a work bestie. And she got me this new job, and I remember she was like, Leslie, when you get this job, even though I speak to you a lot, like, I'm actually doing 100 days of YouTube right now. I don't know if I said this already, because this is take like 4 or 5 of me recording this video, but it is currently February 28th, 2026. Happy Black History Month. And I am doing a 100-day sprint right here on YouTube. Today is either day, and I say this in every video, I don't be knowing what day it is. I'm going to be doing like 200 days, and I won't even know. No, I'm not. Today is day 23. And my camera is about to die, so I'm going to bring you all. Hold on. This is real life, because my camera is about to die, and y'all are going to see all this background of everything. Everything is everything. Because we're recording every day, and I have a pimple patch on my face if you're trying to figure that out. Because we're recording every day, and also you're going to know, please subscribe. So once you subscribe, you're going to notice some themes. Like the great Hannah Montana says, nobody is perfect. Yes, this is a very millennial coded video. I'm a millennial. I'm specifically more niche down. I am let me put this down. I am a Disney millennial. Okay? Not like those intense. I'm not that intense. Okay, guys? I'm not fandom Disney. When I say Disney, I mean Disney Channel. Okay? I was raised on the Disney Channel. I preferred the Disney Channel. And I think the reason I preferred, please charge. Thank you, God, it's charging. Okay, we're charging. I preferred Disney. We're going to get back to nursing. Is because I was born in upstate New York. Moved down here when I was 8. I'm currently 34. And I remember before we moved to Florida, Disney was just Disney Channel. Correct me if I'm wrong, but do y'all remember, like, Disney Channel was after Nickelodeon, wasn't it? But I remember it was either, and at that time too, it was like with the cable packages, it was like package A is basic cable, package B, you get like 1 or 2 more channels, and like Nickelodeon and Disney was included. And I remember my parents were getting that, and I was so excited to like get access to a new channel, and Disney Channels happen to be that channel. So sometimes I'd be saying Disney Channel references, and so here we are. Okay, now that we are charged up, okay, going back to communication. Working remotely, communication is so important. And I remember my friend was like, Leslie, you have to speak up in this new job. Like, whatever you're doing, like, speak up. And I have been. And I'm really proud of myself, because even though on here I talk a lot, because nobody can talk back to me. So there's also that. Yes, comment. Please comment, like, and subscribe. But it's different. I don't know. I just genuinely, these videos are for you, but they're for me too, because it's helping me just be more articulate. It's helping me to not say like and as much, even though your girl, we be saying like and every other thing. But it's helped me a lot, because doing this 100-day sprint, I started this right before I started my new job. And I feel like because I've been so consistent on social media, it's helped me to just continue to speak up offline as well in my in not my actual in my corporate job. Time management is also really important. Time management is important because, and I'm so glad, even though that was the reason I left the other job. I left the other job because the productivity thing, how they tracked us, was like really, I didn't like it. I would get my work done. I am thankful though, because even though I did get in trouble, I didn't get fired. Let me be very clear. I did not get fired from my previous job. But the year before, like within the year of last year, within last year, I was put on like a PIP, or like that personal performance thing, because I was falling behind. The reason I was falling behind is because I was going back to school and I was just not managing my time well. And so fortunately, the supervisor that I had, she showed me how to just be more how to manage my time better. And so one thing she said, she was like, you have to do 2 reviews an hour. So I did it, but I didn't like that because sometimes I don't want to get into that. But you have to manage your time better, okay? So how do you position yourself? You need to highlight your outcomes. Like, so this is like resume. Like, how do you put your stuff in the resume? Yes, use AI, but at the same time, be very weary, because some jobs, they have these AI readers now. So they'll automatically just like delete your resume if they read certain things because of the AI things that they purchased to read through. Highlight the outcomes. Like, what did you do on the units that you worked on? Were you part of any initiatives like with hand hygiene or with vancomycin like antibiotic things or diabetic education? You see where I'm like, those kind of things. Speak to coordination, use measurable language, right? And then you want to tailor your resume based on what you have done. And you have done a lot. I will tell you this, you have done a lot. So you want to put there, like, how many patients have you had? Like, what is your nurse to patient ratio, right? Making sure you emphasize you gave medications timely, right? Pain medicine timely, like managing patients in that way. So let's see here. It is so am I going to close this video? I'm trying to do 30-minute videos, if I'm being honest with y'all, but I don't want to just be on here for the sake of being on here. So let's just let me just end with this and then we'll recap and then I'll send you on your merry way. So know that it is a slower pace than the hospital. When you work remotely, it is so much slower. I feel like for me, and this is like a separate video, but I wasn't meant to work in the hospital as a nurse. It was really hard for me to keep up. And I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that, but it was hard for me to keep up. I am a very good book nurse, if you will. Like, I know signs and symptoms of diabetes. I know signs and symptoms of congestive heart failure. So me working in remotely, like, I put the book knowledge to use now to help manage these insurances. Is less adrenaline. So if you're somebody that's like, you're an adrenaline junkie, like you're like, you love the ED, like you like me and the ED, like it's like that high that you need. Amazing. But no, and there's people that work ED their whole career, but like you're gonna like crash. You're gonna crash. You're going to burn out. So if you want to have a sustainable career, and when I say that, what I mean is this. Sustainability looks like when you come home, you're not sleeping for like your whole 3 days off. You know what I mean? So sustainability is when you come home, I don't want to say work-life balance. I just want to say that you come home and you can hang out with your friends and your family and you're not dead to the world, okay? So you have to think that too. Yes, adrenaline is great, but if you're getting that same, and you know this, you a registered nurse, but if you getting that same adrenaline every single day, you can get your adrenaline in other ways. You can say, well, you can jump out of a plane, right? You can, what do they call that? Like, you jump out of a plane, right? You can go travel to a country you've never been to. There's other ways you can get your adrenaline, y'all. And it's a different type of stress because now it's reports. So there's something, the old job I used to work at was called turnaround time. We had to make sure that we got our authorizations done within 48 hours. If we did not get them done in 48 hours, we would get penalized, like financially. Okay, so that was a different kind of stress, because when Friday came, especially after 2 p.m., if you didn't get clinicals and all this stuff, then it's most likely going to get denied and da 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 da. So there's that. It's also an identity shift, because I know for me, I was embarrassed to say that I worked from home as a nurse because I didn't feel like I was a real nurse. But, and I'm pretty sure I already said this in the beginning, healthcare is changing at a rapid rate. No, healthcare is not changing. Technology is changing at a rapid rate. And in healthcare, we use a lot of technology. Even though healthcare is very antiquated, it's very outdated, there is a lot of technology that we use that you have to know that you are still a nurse when you work from home. It just looks different. And I think that's where we're at collectively with across different careers, is that these careers don't look the way they looked like when our parents were working them. They look different because the world is changing, right? And know that you don't need to be scared because it's changing. You just need to keep up, right? So you want to build your skill first, and you build your skill first by working in the People's Hospital, learning everything you need to know. Get a mentor as well. That just came up for me. That was not on script, but I really wish that I had a mentor when I was working in the hospital, because I feel like it would, I know, not I feel, I know it would have helped me, because I also have my own business and I have hired mentors for my business, and that's what has helped sustain me, right? And I wish that I did that when I first became a graduate nurse. Once you build your skill first in the hospital, you then move intentionally, right? So you do your research. So I believe, okay, when I left the People's Hospital, I then went into case management. I will never forget it. I worked night shift in the ICU. The ICU was the last place I worked in the People's Hospital. And I remember something terrible happened on the floor. And I came home that morning, because I worked night shift, crying. And I was like, I can't work here anymore. Like, as I was driving home, I was like, I can't work there anymore. And I came home, showered, obviously, opened up my laptop, and I put like case management nurse jobs. I didn't know that work from home was available to me at that time, if I'm going to be honest with you. And this was probably like 2016, 2017. So much happened in that time personally. Anyways, but I found a job and I got the job, and that's where I met my now friend. It's so wild. But the reason I wanted to go into case management is because I've always loved educating people about their health. And you will see when you click through this playlist of the 100 Days Straight on YouTube, we're talking everything from high blood pressure, what is blood, all like right now, because it's heart month, we're focusing on heart health. But I've always been somebody that I've always loved to educate people about their health. And so I remember when I worked in the hospital, I would see the case managers. They would come in and they would help with discharge planning, and they would educate the patients on how they can just not come back to the hospital at least within 30 days. And I was always just like drawn to that. I was like, I can do that. Like I would be really good at that, because again, I'm a book nurse. Like I'm really good at remembering, oh yeah, you need your blood sugar to be to 70 to 100. Oh yeah, you need to make sure you do check your blood sugar before meals and at bedtime. Like I like to recite those things. And so that was why I Googled case management jobs, because of what I saw in the hospital. And this goes back to the importance of and the beauty of social media is the world is literally your oyster. Everything you want to know is here online. You just have to know, though, what words to put in to get what you want. What the input you put is the output you get, right? And so I'm so glad that I was like, I'm going to try this case management thing. Loved it. Let me know if you want me to talk more about that in another video. But I say all that to say, we're going to close. These are the tips. So it's very simple, especially if you are already a registered nurse and you have been working in the People's Hospital. Like, if you've been in the People's Hospital for almost like as long as me now, like, you're like, girl, I became a nurse same as you, because it was 2014. So if you became a nurse is that technically the early 2000s? I don't know if it is, but it's time to pivot. It's time to pivot. And I recommend pivoting remotely, especially if you also are a millennial like me. We're just going through a lot. And anyways, I'm going to close because I'm blabbing now. Make sure you subscribe. We are currently, let me look actually. Where are we in subscribers? Let me tell you. I can tell you. Wow, we are at 979 subscribers. 979 subscribers at time of recording is February 28th, 2026. I am saying this for me, so when I look back at these videos, which I rarely do, but because I can't like stand how I like myself and like so y'all, we are less than 50 away from 1,000 subscribers. I am so excited, and I know once you subscribe, I'll already be at 1,000, or maybe you will be the 1,000th. I really wish I could know like who that 1,000, like it would tell me like this was your 1,000. Maybe it does. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.